going on there, YouTube? So, new project. I got this from a viewer named Glenn. He started this project last year and he just kind of lost interest in it. Got to a point and he sent me a message that he'd put it up on eBay if I knew anybody interested, and I really like his chassis, so I said I was interested, and a week later shipped it over from England. And yeah, so what he did, well, first of all, let me tell you what we got. We've got custom steel frame rails that are very near exact 32. He took the blueprint, shrunk it down, and scaled it, cut them out of metal, and made actual hot rod rails. And this is the usual method. It's got leaf springs in the rear. It's got a Yoda 2 axle. Up front we've got a Tamiya semi-truck axle and a 2-link radius arm setup. It is a little crooked right now because I haven't fine-tuned the adjustments. I just wanted to throw it together here so we could mock it up and get some ideas. Couple things. He's got this engine. I didn't realize in the photos how big that is. That's a it's like one of the old DeWalt drill motors. It's a, I don't remember what size they are. Massive. So it's like a 680 motor or whatever the next step is above 540. We've got this 3D printed motor with headers and everything. It's a little big for me, but I mean, it came with it, so, and it's made to fit this beast. So yeah, probably not going to use that. I want to use RC 4-wheel drive V8 and R4. I want to have enough money to buy one of those right now, but I don't. But this is going to be the gasser again. Since the first gasser, I just was never happy with my chassis. It's laying over here in a junk pile somewhere. There it is. So this was my gasser frame. I think that was the back. Similar dimensions, but it was a lot narrower, and looks like crap now. It's been setting, but just didn't jive right. And trying to use stuff I had to make mounts, and it just never worked right. That was the front, actually. There we go. So scratch that, and I know a lot of folks were really looking forward to seeing the gasser build, but it just didn't. This wasn't the right time. But I got Glenn's frame here, and we've got leaf sprung rear, radius arm front. It's even got a little Savox servo mounted up here already. I haven't hooked up the steering link yet because I'm still learning my way around this thing and not sure. Going to change out a lot of the hardware. We've got Phillips head, like Tamiya type screws, and I've already started when I put the rear on, going to scale bolts. But yeah, chassis is phenomenal, and we've got some mounts here that his motor bolted directly to. But I'm not sure yet. I've got this R4 here. It actually is the exact width of the frame, these mounts. So we could use one of the Nightcrawler's 3D flatheads, but if we're going with the gasser thing, flathead's not really what you want. You need something a little bit more meaty. Really need a top fuel dragster kind of motor, but I don't know. This is what we got so far. Like I said, I just kind of threw this together. Angles and stuff are all off. The shock's not even connected. Didn't put it on there. There we go. So we got some, looks like SCX10 axle hoops up front. This is the original plastic ones. Probably will change those out to something a little thinner, a little less A-framey. And but yeah, the chassis is square. We've got a cross member up front that mounts the servo. It's welded. We've got a cross member here that's welded, and that's it. So anything we bolt in between there is just going to add structure. We even have a drop shaft. So we also have, fortunately it was slightly damaged in shipping. This is a Awesome Designs rat rod truck cab and a homemade plastic and wood, or just all wood, I can't tell. We got a little bed for it. I'm not going to make this a truck though. I knew from the minute I saw this frame that we have to go back with the chopped body. Basically the same dimensions as the Awesome Design body. I can get it to sit there. So right now we're setting a little bit too high, and I wonder if I should do the not chop body. I've got one that's not chopped as much. I don't know. We'll sort that out later. But I want to flip the axle on top of the leaf springs like I had on my original one. That will bring the back down. Then we can see how we feel about the front. The front would be easy to adjust with these shocks. We could do anything. We could even run shorter shocks. I could swap out some Tamiya semi-truck shocks and different mounts, and we can play with that completely 100%. But I think this is going to work. We may have to widen the rear a little bit, but I don't know. I'm going to get the rear axle flipped. I wish I'd have realized I was going to do that before I put them on. But we'll play with it for a minute and see what we can come up with. Alright guys, here it is. I got a lot further than I meant to. I don't think I'm going to use this flathead V8. It doesn't look bad. Honestly, I'm kind of digging it. If I were to use this, this is from Nightcrawler's 3D. I'll put a link below. This is his flathead V8. It was designed by M Customs. You can find his store on Shapeways. He's got some really cool stuff. I've used this on a rat rod in the past, the farm truck. Yeah, I don't have the heads on it, but I do have the heads and everything. I broke one of the headers trying to flip them around, but it just fits this body so well. The headers come out perfectly on the sides. Yeah. So this chassis that Glenn made is a replica of like a 32, I think, a 32 Roadster, 32 Ford style. And I just had to have it because it's the right look. It's the right thing for this. And the way the suspension's set up, I've made those lift blocks, lowering blocks, whatever, out of the motor mounts off the TFL Racing Bronco, the mud truck. Since we're swapping out the motor and stuff on that, I had those laid around. They fit pretty well. I had to spend a lot more time than I wanted to trying to make them fit. But this thing is a roller. We've got steering. We have suspension. I don't have any shocks on the back, but I do have some mounts off of a, I don't know what it is, some kind of conversion kit for the Trailfinder 2. Gives you another shock mount. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those yet, but I do need to do something different with the rear because it's a little bit too much. I was trying to find some flatter leaf springs. I don't have two identical. I've got 3 or 4, and they're all slightly different lengths and slightly different curves. So I don't know yet what we're going to do with that, but it fits perfect the way I've got the body mocked up on there. The stance is, I think it's pretty spot on. We've got the right amount of clearance in the back. The frame is tilted up towards the front. Angle of the motor looks pretty good, actually. Yeah. And I think I'm going to keep these wheels. I have these wheels that Awesome Designs made for me for the original Gasser build, but they're made for these Traxxas tires. And I don't know if these tires will fit this wheel. I haven't tried yet. They look pretty good like they are. But it does need to be taller because that helps with the rake and the look of the car. So the angle of everything, the way it is with the lift or the lowering blocks in the back, got the pinion angle looking a lot better. The angle of the motor as it sits right now, just sitting on the frame, it's pretty close. We could have a pretty straight shot from the transmission to the rear axle. So pinion angles and stuff won't really be a problem. I'm worried a little bit about the angle of the front axle. It is tilted down quite a bit. We could do with some angled rod ends or something on there maybe. I don't know yet. We'll have to tinker with the front a little bit more. I did away with the SEX10 hoops that he had on there because they were offset. One side was further back than the other, and it made the shocks all out of sorts. And I used the Tamiya Grand Hauler shocks that I had laying around. The springs I put in them were a little bit too long, but I didn't want to cut springs and stuff yet. This is all still preliminary. Like I said, the body's just sitting there. Nothing's permanently attached to the frame. Still got some tinkering to do with the suspension in the back as well as the front. And but yeah, I did permanently modify the body to make it sit down lower, so the wheel arches in the back that I'd already cut out fit pretty well with the tire. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I need to sleep on it some more and do some more brainstorming. See what we can come up with for the suspension and body mounts and stuff like that. I do still... originally, one of the things I was looking at doing with the Gasser, the body, is I wanted colored Lexan windows. That's kind of a Gasser thing. They always put weird window tint. And, you know, typically I'll just use a RC4 drive like axle packaging. Anything that I've got packaging-wise that's Lexan, that's free material. And cut the windows to fit and all that. But I really want to do some bright color or something. You know, that's just part of the Gasser life, I guess. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this one up. And I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And I really appreciate it, Glenn. Thank you for giving me a chance to buy this chassis from you, because this is exactly what I needed for this body, for this build that never happened. And yeah, we're going to make it happen now. So yeah, keep it scale. I'll see y'all in the next video.